My name is Brooks Zurn, and I'm with Gadget Cat, and I'm also with a club up in Longwood called Familab. Has anybody heard of an Arduino? Okay, yeah. So yeah, an Arduino is an easy to program microcontroller that you can turn lights on and off and control things with the computer. And I saw the Arduino, and I thought, I know what this is. I took an entire semester class of microcontrollers in college, and I thought. I looked at how simple it was to get started with the Arduino versus the embedded processors that I was working with in college, and I thought this is going to revolutionize engineering education. And so the LilyPad Arduino was an Arduino the board of it is specially made so that you can sew it into clothing, and you can use conductive thread with it. You can embed it into wearables. So I thought, well, I should do something with the LilyPad Arduino, but I'm not a fashion designer, so what I did was I went to the department store, found a dress that fit me and looked reasonably good on me, and modified it. And what my goal with the dress was, I tried to think about, well, what is the goal of having lights in it? Because I mean, it's like you can put lights on. It's like, oh my gosh, look, it's a light, and then that's kind of it becomes kind of a fad kind of thing. But I wanted to be able to have something that was going to actually enhance the value of the dress. And so I thought about it, and I thought, well, when you have sequins in a dress, the reason they put sequins on a dress is because they want it to be sparkly. They want it to reflect light into your eyes. So the sequin, the light hits the sequin, it reflects into your eye, and it is sparkly. And then they try to reflect more and more light into your eyes, so they put more and more sequins on, and eventually end up with these dresses that weigh like 10 pounds because they have so many beads and sequins on them. But I thought, well, the problem is they're trying to reflect the light. Maybe the light ought to come from inside the dress, and then you're not dependent on the outside, on the lighting, the ambient light in the room. So that's what I was trying to address with this. So I found something that had a lot of sequins on it already, and I started putting LEDs on it. The wearable electronics is nowhere near as complicated as people think it needs to be. The shoes, all I did was I got some light-up drumsticks from downtown Disney, and I got some platform shoes that were like $10 from the department store, and I drilled a hole in the platform, put the drumstick in, and chopped it off. And they were clear, so you could see through it. So every time I walked, you could see the light up. So as things went along, I was doing more with my business, and I got engaged, and as soon as people heard that I was engaged, they said, "Oh, is your wedding dress going to light up?" And I was like, I guess, okay. So I started investigating what would be involved with getting a wedding dress that lit up. And I got a small piece of fabric from one of the companies that I distributed things for, and it was fabric like this. And the piece was about that big. And I saw that and I thought, this is beautiful. It looks like actual fabric, but this is nowhere near enough of it, because wedding dress is much bigger than that big. So I looked at the box, figured out where the company that they bought it from, and the company was in Spain. And after about a month and a half, I had 6 yards of this fabric imported from Spain. And then about 3 months later, I ordered some more of it, and now I've got probably about 40 yards of this fabric in various colors. But one of the things that it didn't even occur to me to do scarves with this. I had cut off a long strip to do some testing stuff with it, and I was walking around with it, and I was like, what am I going to do with this? So I just wrapped it around my neck. And then people were like, oh my gosh, it's a scarf. It's beautiful. Where can I buy them? I'm like, I guess you can buy them from me. I'll figure out how much it costs me. This is where the light goes in. What it is it's fiber optic strands. Like, you know how you've seen those Christmas trees that light up and flash colors? This is the same material that's in those Christmas trees, except it's actually woven into the fabric. And all of the ends come out here, and what happens, you put light into the ends, the light travels through the fiber and goes through. And that's the same principle that's behind the high-speed fiber optic data transmission lines. And because the light travels so well through the lines, that's why it's excellent for transmitting data, because what they do is they modulate the pulses of the light in order to contain information, and then it goes through at very low loss levels out the other end. And so that's why fiber optic data lines are so coveted. And so as I point it in different directions, different parts of the fibers get light, and they go through that. These lights are 1 watt LEDs, so these are really bright. And they also get really hot, and fortunately, because I had a shopping problem, I had also bought these adorable tiny little heat sinks that turned out to be just the right size for my LEDs. It's kind of one of those things where it's like you see something, you're like, I know I'm going to need that. I don't need it right now. I don't know what I would use it for, but it looks handy, and it turns out it was handy. So what my next plan is to put these lights into this. So you see how that's pretty bright. I mean, so now we have, I think I'm okay. So now we have some light in here, and so the next challenge with this is going to be, how do I get this part to stay on here? Yeah, this is going to be the tricky part. Is once I get the lighting system set up, then it will be a matter of spreading it out inside the flounces and then tacking it with thread so that it stays where it belongs. And I would personally would prefer it to be a little bit brighter than it is, but these are 1 watt LEDs, and I'm concerned if I get any bigger LEDs than that, then it might actually literally catch on fire. These are getting pretty hot already. So I think what I'm going to do is, this is one piece of the fabric. So I think what I'm going to do is put multiple pieces of the fabric inside there. So that's kind of where I'm at now. But it's always good to have a worst case scenario when you're working on an engineering project. So worst case scenario, I can just take my LEDs and make myself like a leg holster for them and just light it up from underneath.